Here we start another conception which is known as norm of an operator. First of all, norm of an operator is defined if the operator is bounded. So first of all, we assume that operator is bounded. Next we go to the norm of an operator. So since the operator is bounded, so what is the definition of operator of a bounded linear operator? So T is a mapping from X to Y. X and Y both are nonlinear space, and T is a linear operator. And if it is bounded, that means there exists a real constant C, and that constant is obviously positive, such that norm of Tx is less or equal to C into norm of X, and it is hold for all X belongs to capital X. Since T is a linear operator, that means T is linear, so we know that T of 0 is equal to 0. 0 means the null element of X, and that 0 is the null element of Y. So T of 0 is equal to 0. So if you put that X is equal to 0, so the relation is obvious. Norm of X, it is less or equal to C into norm of 0. So this relation is obvious. That means because it is equal to 0 and this part is also 0, so 0 equal to 0, so it is obvious. So if X is equal to 0, so this relation is obvious. So omit that X is equal to 0. So ultimately the main goal or main aim, if X is not equal to 0, so if X not equal to 0, so then this relation also happen. That means T of X is less or equal to C into norm of X. It is a hold for all X belongs to capital X minus 0. Then the operator is bounded, so this relation is hold. Now the question is, what is the smallest possible value of C such that this relation is occur? That means the smallest possible values of C, this relation is occur. So find that C such that relation is can happen. Okay. So X belongs to capital X minus 0. That means norm of X. So what is norm of X? So norm of X not equal to 0. Since X belongs to capital X minus 0. So norm of X is not equal to 0. So that we can divide both sides by norm of X. That implies norm of Tx by norm of X. So it is less or equal to C for all X belongs to capital X minus 0. Okay. So now we consider a set A. A is equal to norm of Tx divided by norm of X such that X belongs to capital X minus norm of X. Okay. Norm of X is a real number. So denominator is real number. Numerator is norm of Tx. It is also real number. Both are non-zero. So the division is possible. And each of numerator and denominator both are real numbers. So ultimately it is a real number. So it is a subset of real number. Next, from this equation, it is very easy. A is a bounded. Is a bounded means bounded above. In fact, it is bounded below also because it is always 0 greater than or equal to norm of Tx by norm of X less or equal to C. So A is bounded. So now we consider on the upper bound also. It is both side bounded, upper bounded and lower bounded. And since we know that R has a order completeness property, that means R has a supremum property, and A is bounded above, so A has a supremum. So supremum of A is exist and it is belongs to real number. So supremum of A is exist and it exists in R. Obviously it is a real number, and that supremum value, what is the supremum? That supremum value is denoted by supremum of norm of Tx by norm of X, and what is X belongs to capital X minus 0. So this is the supremum value. And what is the notation? And if we denote that supremum value, it is equal to norm of T. This is the notation. Why we write norm of T? Because this expression satisfies all the properties of norm. That's why we written it is equal to norm of T. So now so that it satisfies all the property. So before we so that it is satisfies all the property of norm, since it is denoted by norm of T, and that norm of T is exists because this part is exists, because supremum of A is exist, so this part is exist, that means norm of T is exist. So if A operator is bounded, then norm of T is exist. So that means that supremum of norm of Tx by x is equal to norm T. That implies norm of T, it is greater than or equal to norm of Tx divided by norm of x for all x belongs to capital X minus 0. It is. See, if we remove that supremum, so that value is greater than or equal to norm of Tx by x, that is we reject. So in that sense we write norm of Tx, it is less or equal to norm of T into norm of x, and it is whole for all x belongs to capital X minus 0. Now if we put x is equal to theta or x equal to 0, then left hand side is equal to right hand side, so it is whole for not only x minus 0, it is whole for all x belongs to capital X. So ultimately it is whole for all x belongs to capital X. That means this relation is equivalent to that relation, and that C value is the minimum. So that is called norm of T. So that expression is called norm of the linear operator T. Now, so that why we write in this form norm of T, because it satisfies all the property of norm. That's why we write no, it is norm of T. Now we show that it satisfies all the property of norm. So what is the definition of norm? What is the first property? Norm of x, it is greater than or equal to norm of x greater than or equal to 0 for all x belongs to capital X. Next, norm of x, it is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to theta or 0. And next, third property, norm of alpha x, it is equal to mod of alpha into norm of x. And fourth property, that is the final property, norm of x plus y, it is less or equal to norm of x and norm of y. If that expression satisfies all the property of norm, so it is an also expression, it is satisfied. That's why it is right norm of x. So what is the first property? First property is very obvious, because numerator is greater than or equal to 0, denominator is greater than or equal to 0, and supreme value is also greater than or equal to 0. So norm of T is greater than or equal to 0. So first is obvious. And what is the second? Second, we assume norm of T. First of all, we assume 1. Suppose norm of T it is equal to 0. Suppose norm of T it is equal to 0. So that implies that supremum value is 0. So supremum x belongs to capital X minus 0. Norm of Tx by norm of x. So it is equal to 0. Supremum values is equal to 0. That implies norm of Tx it is equal to 0. That implies ultimately the operator T is equal to 0. Otherwise, no other possibilities. Now, what is if you assume x norm of x is equal to 0, that implies x is equal to theta. So one part is done. What is the reverse part? If x is equal to theta, so that norm of x is equal to 0. So assume a t is equal to 0. So if t is equal to 0, that means norm of tx is equal to 0. If norm of tx is equal to 0, put that value in numerator, then the entire value is equal to 0. So what is the supremum? Supremum value is 0. So ultimately norm of t is equal to 0. So both sides is occur. So number 2 is done. Now we go to the third position. So if we take alpha into norm of t. So what is the definition? By definition, norm of t definition is supremum of norm of tx by norm of x. So if you replace t by alpha t, then it is equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X minus 0 norm of alpha tx divided by norm of x. Now we know that it is a norm. So alpha into norm tx, so alpha is outside the norm. But one thing is clear, it is outside by mod of alpha. So it is equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X minus 0. So it is equal to mod of alpha into norm of tx and divided by norm of x. Since that supremum varies over x and alpha is independent of x, so outside that, so mod of alpha is outside of that supremum. So it is equal to outside that supremum. Now, what is that expression? That expression is nothing but it is equal to norm of t. So, number 3 also done. And now, to go to the final property. Now go to the final property. And what is the final property? Final property, if you choose two norms, one is T1, another is T2, then so that norm of T1 plus T2 is less or equal to norm of T1 plus norm of T2. So by definition, norm of T1 plus, so T is replaced by T1 plus T2. So it is equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X minus 0, norm of T1 plus T2 into x operator over x divided by norm of x. So it is equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X and it is equal to norm of T1 plus T2x and divided by norm of x. And now we know it is a norm, so norm of T1x plus T2 is less or equal to norm of T1 plus norm of T2. So it is less or equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X minus 0 and it is equal to norm of T1x plus norm of T2x divided by norm of x. Now we can split, then it is equal to supremum of the first part T1x, norm of T1x divided by mod of x plus supremum of the second part norm of T2x divided by norm of x. What is the first part? It is nothing but it is equal to norm of T1, and what is the second part? This is equal to norm of T2. So ultimately it satisfies all the properties of norm, so it is a norm-linear space. Now the question, it is a norm-linear space, it is norm, that means that expression satisfies all the properties of norm. So it is a norm. Okay. Now what the question is, what is the vector space? Where the norm is defined? That is the main question. Where it is defined? That means what is x? It satisfies all the properties of norm, it's okay. So what is the vector space such that, or what is the vector space that has all the properties satisfied? That vector space is nothing but x is equal to set over all bounded linear operator from x to y. That is the vector space. So after a few classes we will prove that that is a vector space. Not necessarily it is a vector space. It is a non-linear space. It is obviously non-linear space, and it is a complete non-linear space. So after a few classes we prove that it is a complete non-linear space. Now we go to the alternate definition of a norm of an operator. That means how to calculate norm of an operator, or easy to calculate what is the norm and how to calculate norm of an operator of an alternative way. And that way is, so that is the definition of a norm of an operator. So that is the definition of a norm of an operator. That is the definition of a norm of an operator. Now go to the alternate definition. What is the alternate definition? Alternate definition of norm of operator is equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X, norm of x is equal to 1 and it is equal to norm of tx. That is the alternate definition. If you take the supremum over all x belongs to capital X, such the norm of x is equal to 1, then that value is equal to the norm of an operator. Now so that these two values are same. So now we start from, it is obvious because supremum is value x belongs to capital X minus, so it is value is x minus 0, so all value other than 0 and its value is only x is equal to 1, so it is obvious it is less or equal to supremum of x belongs to capital X minus 0, norm of tx divided by norm of x. It is obvious it is less or equal to this. Now to show that those two expressions are equal, so choose y, we choose y is equal to x by norm of x. So x is an any value, so we choose x is equal to x is any value, x is any value between x minus 0, we choose any value from x minus 0 and we set y is equal to x by norm of x. Then we calculate supremum of norm of tx divided by norm of x, and x belongs to capital X minus 0. That means it is nothing but it is equal to norm of t. It is equal to norm of t. So we put we put here x by what is x? Y is equal to x by norm of x. So x is equal to y into norm of x. So put that x in here, numerator and denominator as well as. So that implies norm of t, it is equal to supremum of norm of t into y into norm of x, and the denominator it is equal to y into norm of x. Right. Since t is a linear operator, so norm of x is constant, so outside that operator, so supremum of norm of x into norm of t of y, and divided by norm of, so now write in proper form. So this is equal to norm of t, it is equal to supremum of, so norm of y outside the t, so it is equal to norm of x and norm of t of y, and what is the denominator? It is also norm of x into norm of y. So cancel out those two norms, and what is norm of y? Norm of y is equal to norm of x by norm of x, it is equal to 1. So norm of y it is equal to 1, so it is nothing but it is equal to supremum of norm of t of y. And where, what is t, what is y is the norm of y, it is equal to 1, so ultimately norm of y it is equal to 1. So that means norm of t it is equal to supremum of norm of y is equal to 1 norm of ty. So this is an alternative expression to find norm of t. That's